Good morning, physical science people. I guess you could be watching this at night, right? What do I know? This is for Unit 3, a new skill. We're going to learn how to count atoms. I know this sounds very Sesame Street-ish, but it's important, right? Let me walk through these slides. Atoms are on the order of millions and billions and trillions, right? There's tons of them. And so we have to try and keep track of them, and the way we do that is we look at atoms in chemical formulas like this. And these little individual formulas represent the ratios or the number of atoms that you might find in molecules or different compounds. So I'm going to walk you through how we count these. We'll start off relatively slow. This is magnesium oxide, okay? You can see from the periodic table magnesium here and oxygen right here. Now, some people get caught up because there's two elements here, but there's three letters, right? So every capital letter, that's the rule, every capital letter represents a new element. So if you see a lowercase one, that simply means that this lowercase g goes along with this M. Holy cow, influx of emails right now. And as soon as a new capital letter starts, then you have a new element from the periodic table. So I have magnesium and I have oxygen, right? 2. So look for capital letters when we're counting atoms. Here's another example. We have a lithium, capital L, lowercase I, those go together, and sulfur all by itself, right, for lithium sulfide. Now, what if we've got more than just one atom, right? We use these little subscript numbers, and the number to the lower right only belongs to the letter just to the left of it. So here with H2O, the 2 belongs to the H, 2 hydrogens. And since there's no number here, if you ever see just a letter or a chemical symbol from the periodic table, you just assume that there's a 1 there. Okay, so 2 hydrogens and 1 oxygen. All right, something a little crazier, a little scarier, right? If you look here, we have carbon, but we have 6 of them, hydrogen, and we have 12 of them, and oxygen, we have 6 of them. All right, so for a total here, 6 plus the 12 plus the 6 gives us 24 total atoms. There's 24 atoms here. 6 of the carbon, 12 hydrogens, and 6 of the oxygens here. Okay? Now this is just insane. Stay with me here. This is not as nasty as it looks. Start with what you know. We've got barium here, capital B, lowercase a, right? We've got phosphorus here, capital P, and we've got oxygen, capital O. We have these letters to the lower right, but then what the heck is this 2 doing out here? Well, in chemistry, this is the way of basically saying everything inside this parentheses, we're doubling it. All right? So that means that we're going to multiply everything inside this parentheses by 2 once we know what's inside here. Another way to think of this is it's kind of like having this PO4 inside the parentheses just doubled. Okay? So if we were going to count it, this is how we would do it. We have barium here, but we have 3 of them. Then inside the parentheses, we have 1 phosphorus and 4 oxygen. But because there was a little 2 outside of it, it's like having another phosphorus and 4 more oxygen. All right, so how do we count this? You've got 5 atoms inside the parentheses, right? 1 phosphorus and 4 oxygen. There's your 5. But we're multiplying it by 2. This 2 only applies to the parentheses. So we go from having 5 things, then we double it, 10 atoms. But then you can't forget that we had the 3 phosphorus out there to the left-hand side, right? Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 atoms inside the parentheses, multiplied by 2, 5 goes to 10. And then you have to add in these 3 barium over here that are not in the parentheses for a total of 13 atoms, right? 10 here, 3 here, boom. So let's practice some. Take a look at this. Pause the video if you need to. How many total atoms do we have? We got 4. 2 hydrogen, 2 oxygen. How about this one? How many total atoms do we have? Look for capital letters. Look for the numbers. 7. There's 2 hydrogen. There's 1 sulfur. And there's 4 oxygen. For a total of 7 atoms. All right? Here's another nasty one. Pause it if you need to. How many are there? We've got 9 total atoms. Start with the parentheses. We've got 1 nitrogen and 3 oxygen. So that's 4 things, 4 atoms inside the parentheses, multiplied by 2. 4 times 2 is 8. And then this one copper over here that's not in the parentheses, that's what brings us up to 9. Okay, that's the idea. I've got a practice for you to do. We want to count atoms so that we can keep track of how many things are in each of these chemical formulas. We're going to keep building on this idea. So practice it and let me know if you have any questions.